Hello, guys. Today I've come to you with a couple of detective-themed horror stories. Settle in. Get comfortable. And enjoy. Story 1. My name is Mike Gala. I'm a private investigator. When you hear that, you probably picture one of two things. Maybe a charming but cynical truth seeker, someone like J.J. Jeet from Chinatown. Or maybe a washed-up drunk, feeding on the grief of others, selling false hope just to finance another bottle. The truth? Far less glamorous. I'm a failed police detective. I made too many mistakes. Before my superiors could fire me, demote me, or quietly bury my career, I resigned. The skills I learned on the force translated well enough into private investigation, so I set up shop back in my hometown. The job isn't exciting. Most days I assisted the county prosecutor with minor cases, digging up background on petty criminals. Other times I was nothing more than a well-paid background check service for local businessmen. Dull work. But it paid well enough for a decent apartment. Until recently. 2 weeks ago, I retired far earlier than I ever planned. It's hard to explain why. I've started questioning my own sanity because of what surfaced in my last case. I thought writing this down might help. So here it is. About a month ago, a woman named Marjorie Holden came to my office. Early 40s. Composed, but strained. She wanted me to investigate what she believed might be a disappearance. Her nephew, Aaron, hadn't been heard from in over 5 years. I suggested going to the police. She said they wouldn't take her seriously, not after so much time had passed. Marjorie belonged to a well-known local family. The Snells. Wealthy. Influential. And notoriously troubled. They owned one of the most profitable businesses in northeastern Pennsylvania, the Snell Foundry, a manufacturer of aircraft components. The company boomed during World War II after Marjorie's grandfather, Jackson Snell, secured a government contract. He died under mysterious circumstances shortly after the war ended. The family never recovered. According to Marjorie, Aaron left for college in Maryland over a decade ago, and never truly returned. She believed he may have used his father's willingness to pay tuition as an excuse to disappear from the family entirely. Aaron's father died unexpectedly years later. Marjorie had remained in contact with Aaron for a while after that. Then, nothing. 5 years of silence. When she saw I wasn't eager to take the case, she offered double my standard rate. I agreed. A surface-level search on Aaron turned up almost nothing. 3 high school friends confirmed he dropped off the radar once he left town. His Facebook page had been inactive for 8 years. The university told me he'd been expelled during his second semester for academic failure and behavioral issues. Dead end. But then I noticed something. The email Aaron used for Facebook was also linked to a YouTube account. He had been into urban exploration, filming himself exploring abandoned buildings. His final upload was from February 2011. I watched his last few videos. In the second to last one, he says, "To celebrate hitting 2,000 subscribers, I'm exploring a place tied to my personal history. My dad had a warehouse when I was a kid. He died a few years ago. The business died with him. Now there's this abandoned warehouse that literally and figuratively has my name written all over it." My stomach tightened. I called Marjorie. She confirmed the Snell Foundry had been condemned after her brother's death and left to rot in a wooded area a couple miles outside Scranton. She gave me a key to the property. I went. Inside, I found a video camera on the warehouse floor. And spray-painted on the foreman's office window. They are watching. I called Aaron's name. No response. I took the camera. Most of the footage was mundane. Aaron joking around. Exploring. Narrating. Then came the final 7 recordings. The first showed him traveling back home, bus to Scranton, then hitchhiking to the factory. The next, him standing outside the foundry at dusk. He mentioned the cold, the forest, the long walk back to civilization. He considered leaving and returning in the morning. He didn't. He grabbed a flashlight and a crowbar and forced his way inside through a loading gate. The next 3 videos were uneventful. Childhood stories. Mild disappointment that the building wasn't more interesting. Then came the 5th. He stood in front of the foreman's office window, filming the spray-painted message. "They are watching." He stared at it longer than necessary. His breathing quickened. "It's not the creepiest thing I've seen in abandoned places," he muttered. The video cut abruptly. Battery? Accidental stop? That's what I assumed. Until I played the 6th file. Aaron was inside a filthy restroom, breathing heavily. He set the flashlight on a sink, aimed the camera at himself. He looked terrified. Whispering. "I saw something. Like a mannequin or some crap. It wasn't there before. I know it wasn't. It was like 3 meters from me, staring right at me. A mannequin? In an aircraft parts warehouse? And how had it appeared without being visible in the earlier footage?" I reviewed the previous video. No mannequin. Nothing. Someone had placed it. Or moved it. I dreaded the final recording. But I had to watch it. Aaron stepped cautiously from the restroom toward the foreman's office. The only path to the loading gate passed through that area. He turned off the flashlight and whispered. "This is where I saw it." He hesitated. Then switched the light back on. Nothing. He exhaled, relief and fear tangled together. Then he froze. I didn't understand why at first. Then I saw it. A figure moved past him from behind. Close enough to brush shoulders. It walked into the beam of his flashlight, yet paid him no attention. He was the only source of light in that cavernous darkness. He was breathing hard. And the figure ignored him. The camera struggled to focus. It looked human. Possibly wearing coveralls. But something was wrong. Aaron shut off the flashlight as the figure turned into the foreman's office. Darkness swallowed everything. For 40 seconds, silence. Then quiet sobbing. Aaron must have crept forward. The sobbing stopped when something rustled to his right. A pause. Then a voice. Soft. Piercing. Childlike. "Hello, Aaron." He screamed. The camera fell. There was a shrill sound. Heavy footsteps slamming against concrete. Aaron's distant screams of pain echoed for 15 minutes. Then silence. The recording continued in darkness for another 29 minutes. Then it ended. The memory card was full. I gave the footage to the police immediately. This was no runaway case. I provided statements. Gave them Marjorie's contact information. Asked them not to involve me further unless absolutely necessary. They never called back. I haven't slept properly since. I retired. No income. No pension. I can barely leave my apartment. Writing this is the only thing that feels remotely therapeutic. I don't have answers. I only know what I saw. And whatever was in that warehouse. It knew Aaron's name. If not, then honestly, I don't think I'll last much longer. Ever since I watched that footage, I haven't gone anywhere without my gun. Not because I'm brave, but because I'm afraid. Afraid that whatever came for Aaron might one day decide to come for me. The fear never fades. It sits behind my ribs. It breathes with me. I've reached a breaking point. If tonight is another sleepless night. If the nightmares return, those visions of the thing that moved in the dark behind him. I don't know how much more of this I can endure. There are fates worse than death. And sometimes, in the quiet hours before dawn, I can feel something waiting. Watching. Patient. Like it already knows my name. Story 2, The Artist in the Fields. It was my first case as a detective. Naturally, they handed me the scrap, the case nobody wanted. A dead sheep on a local farm with a bizarre symbol carved into the hide. I figured it was just bored kids playing cultist, or idiots tired of making crop circles. Maybe the farmer did it himself for the attention. In the rural sticks, boredom is a disease. But it wasn't what I expected. I arrived at the farm around noon. The old man running the place led me to the field. I smelled it before I saw it, a foul cocktail of raw sewage and rotting meat. The throat had been slit, the earth had drunk the blood. On the shoulder blade, there were tally marks. The farmer's photo had been blurry, but up close, the main symbol was clear. It looked like a flower with two petals, or a rocket with twin flames. I circled the carcass, and then it hit me. It was a crude, hideous drawing, but from the right angle, it was a cow. I asked the farmer if he kept cattle. He nodded toward a hill. A few. Keep them close tonight, I warned. Whoever did this might be coming back for a sequel. At 5:30 a.m., the phone screamed. Another one. A cow this time. The stench was the same. The throat slit was identical. But when I looked at the carving on the cow's flank, my heart skipped. The artist hadn't tried as hard this time. It was a stick figure. A human. Panic set in. Mutilating livestock is a crime, a threat to human life is a nightmare. Was the farmer the killer, or the next victim? I called for backup, 2 patrolmen, but I kept it quiet. I didn't want the guys at the station mocking me for being afraid of a stick figure. The stick boy detective, they'd call me. We sat on the porch in the dark. 3 a.m. One officer brought me my 4th cup of coffee. That's when we heard the crunch in the distance. We swept our flashlights across the field. Nothing but barley and pasture. There, the officer hissed. It was the size of a small child, but its limbs were long, spindly, like a man's. It was dark, a mass of wild hair dragging behind it as it bolted on all fours toward the fence. It leaped up, but before it crossed, it turned. The face was a void, except for the eyes and the mouth. The eyes were massive, deep crimson, the color of the blood it had spilled. Its mouth was agape, revealing 2 rows of paper-white, razor-sharp teeth. Wedged between the teeth were small splinters, sticks, stark against the white. It looked me in the eye for 1 heartbeat, then vanished into the night. What the hell was that? The officer whispered. Something evil, I replied. When the sun rose, I walked out into the barley. In the center of the field stood a scarecrow. Its head had been ripped off and lay at its feet. I looked at the scarecrow's chest. I didn't need to circle it to understand this time. The creature had drawn itself. Case closed. I never told a soul. Story 3, The Mirror in the Morgue. Translated into a frantic, journalistic horror style. I'm a journalist. Recently, a dead woman was found in an abandoned warehouse. She was an identical match to the lead detective on the case. DNA confirmed it. I wouldn't be writing this if the detective were dead. She was very much alive when they found her body. My boyfriend, her partner, started an unofficial investigation and found her diary. I photographed every page. October 27th. My name is Olivia. I'm a detective with the Ridgewell PD. I don't usually keep journals, but I need to record this. 2 days ago, some kids found a Jane Doe in an industrial park. I was called in at 2 a.m. The body was white, pale as a sheet. drained of blood or frozen solid. She was dressed in 1950s attire. But that wasn't the problem. The problem was her face. It was mine. The same shoulder-length brown hair. The same freckles. I tried to find a rational out. A long-lost twin? A doppelganger? Then I saw the scar. A diagonal line through the right eyebrow. I got that scar when I was 4 years old, hitting my father's oak dresser. October 28th, met with the coroner. It wasn't hypothermia. He can't explain the cause of death, or why she's my mirror image. I gave a DNA sample for comparison. It can't be me. I'm breathing. I'm here. The lieutenant wants me off the case, but I talked him out of it. My partner, Jonas, is keeping the press at bay. If the city finds out the murder victim is the detective investigating the murder, there will be a riot. October 29th. The department is throwing a Halloween party. I'm going as Wonder Woman, Jonas is Batman. Maybe I can forget for a night. The DNA report came back. It's inexplicable. According to the lab, I am our mystery victim. Ike, our tech, says close relatives can scramble the tests. That must be it, he said. But I saw his eyes. He doesn't believe it. And neither do I. It has to be a twin. It has to be something like that. I nodded and forced myself to look relieved. But of course, I know he's wrong. That wouldn't explain the scar above the eyebrow. And even if it did, I never had a twin sister. I've seen my birth certificate. I've seen the hospital records from the day my mother gave birth. There was no mention of twins. And yet that idea is the only thing keeping me sane. I have to believe that's what happened. Maybe my parents had a second daughter and gave her up for adoption. Maybe they never told me. Maybe they convinced the doctor to alter the hospital records. Maybe she happened to cut her eyebrow in the exact same place I did 27 years ago. Tomorrow I'm meeting with Dr. Morrow, the man who delivered me. I hope my next entry will contain answers. Day 4, October 30th. I met with Dr. Morrow today. With his permission, I recorded the entire conversation to confirm, or finally destroy, the twin theory. On my way there, I already felt like I knew the answer. Still, I needed to hear it. I asked him simple questions. Was he present at my mother's delivery? How many children were born that day? What were their names? Halfway through, I turned off the recorder. He would never confess to anything on record. I asked him plainly. Was there any chance my mother gave birth to twins that day, and for some reason it was never documented? I assured him there would be no consequences. He denied everything. I asked if he was certain. He was adamant. My mother gave birth to one child. Only one. I thanked him and left. The world felt like it was collapsing inward. There was no twin. A small, desperate part of me clung to the idea that he was lying. But deep down, I already knew the truth. I know it now. The woman those kids found on that warehouse floor was me. When you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. That belief carried me through my entire career. But what if the truth itself is impossible? I suppose I'm about to find out. Because today, my costume order arrived. Inside the box was not the Wonder Woman outfit I had purchased. Instead, there was a label, Mid-Century Woman. A floral white dress. A straw hat with a sunflower pinned to the side. Bright red heels. The exact outfit the dead woman was wearing. The exact outfit I was wearing. Day 5, October 31st. I have nothing. No leads. No answers. I've spent the entire day wrestling this in my head. I tried calling Jonas. He didn't answer. Probably with that reporter, his new girlfriend. Soon I'll be leaving for the department's Halloween party. Wearing this dress. Under normal circumstances, I would love it. Tonight, it feels like I'm walking toward an execution. This will probably be my last entry. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. But I want whoever reads this to know. I am not crazy. I am not losing my mind. I hope someone can solve this, since I couldn't. Respectfully. Olivia Johnson. Next to the diary, on Jonas's desk, I found a brief police report. I'll transcribe it as well. Ridgevale Police Department. Missing Person Report. Filed by Detective Jonas Quinn regarding the disappearance of his partner, Detective Olivia Johnson. She was last seen alone outside the Ridgevale Police Department building, wearing a white floral dress and a light brown straw hat with a sunflower on the side. Security cameras captured her turning the corner of the building. She never appeared on the camera covering the opposite side of the wall. Despite months of searching, no trace of her was found. Human remains discovered days earlier on the opposite end of the city, though initially suspected to be connected, are not considered related by the Ridgevale Homicide Division. Both investigations are currently closed pending new evidence. My thoughts. So those were today's stories. What did you think? Here are my impressions. Story 1. Overall, I liked it. I enjoy this kind of narrative framing, where the protagonist uncovers events through found footage, diaries, or recordings. It was chaotic in places. Unclear what that figure in the warehouse really was. Why Aaron followed it. Why it spoke in a child's voice. But that uncertainty worked in its favor. There's real suspense in it. That slow dread as the camera keeps rolling. Messy, but effective. Story 2. At first, I was really into it. Something stalking the livestock. Escalating from sheep to cow. Possibly targeting the farmer next. Then the reveal, the stick figure carved into the scarecrow. And the idea that the creature had drawn itself. That's where it lost me. Why would it draw itself? How does the detective know that's what it was? The ending weakened what had been a strong build-up. Still, the middle section had real tension. Story 3. This one, I loved. A detective investigating her own corpse. A body from the future appearing in the past. She disappears around the corner, and becomes the very body she once examined. It's twisted. Circular. Inevitable. She sensed she was walking toward something fatal. The wrong costume arriving. The execution feeling. Then she vanishes. And the timeline closes in on itself. Dark. Ironic. Clever. Big thumbs up from me. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.